Damn, 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 damn. Today, I'm going to be talking about Ice Cube's 2025 Amazon Prime adaptation of War of the Worlds. So ain't nothing to it but to do it. Now, I gotta say, I was rooting for Cube with this kind of role. It's something different than I usually see him in. And when the news of this production came about, a lot of people, including myself, weren't sure about the use of the computer screen through the entire film. I have seen that style before with Unfriended, which I do enjoy. I like that one. So this style wasn't new to me, but just a War of the Worlds film taking place entirely on a computer screen, I was extremely 50-50 on. I'm either going to love or hate this movie. And I have to say, in my personal opinion, War of the Worlds is one of the very worst films of 2025. I say that with respect to Q because I think it was really cool for him to take this chance with this role. So I'm not entirely mad at Cube for it, but I will blame the director, who I think is pretty terrible, in my opinion. I think a lot of the performances here are very wooden. I think a lot of people are doing the best they can, but the writing itself is terrible and all striking to me. It drops my jaw to the floor in the worst way. The way the aliens operate in this film and their ultimate goal left me face palming. How they appear and how they look in the film is just very disappointing. The previous War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise in 2005, I think those aliens for the most part were pretty threatening. You know, one or two of them I thought were a little wonky looking, but the main big tripod guys and the creepy droning sounds that they would belt out, I thought were very creepy. Here, they're very laughable, in my opinion. The CGI is very distracting. It's terrible looking. We're damn near going to sci-fi Sharknado territory. And I hate to say that because I was giving this one a big chance. We have Eva Longoria. Clark Gregg is a great actor, in my opinion. And I will shout out Devin Bostic, who plays the boyfriend to Ice Cube's daughter in this movie. I thought he was actually really funny, and he was one of the standouts for me. But I think he was working with the best he could. And I'm familiar with Devin Bostic with his work in Land of the Dead and even playing the older brother in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid film. So it was pretty cool to see him pop up. Here, Ice Cube is playing a character named Will Bradford, who's a part of a surveillance government group who's pretty much eyeing all of us. He's able to hack into different computers and cell phones. I thought it was a little bit weird how he's able to hack into the van surveillance of the boyfriend and check up on him. He's able to hack into the phones to see what text messages everybody's saying to each other. So, and he's finding out the true reveal that they're not too fond of him because of certain choices and how hasn't been too much into their life. And the wife has passed away and they were more closer to the wife. So he's going through a lot. It comes to the point where even the president of the United States and some of the higher ranking commands of the government are going to Will to sort this all out, or they're asking for his advice or how he can track things down or how he can make things happen. So the shoulders rely on Ice Cube's character in this film. He's the one that's trying to save us all. This one's kind of a small nitpick, and I can understand if some people consider it to be dumb, but I do wish Cube went for any sort of different voice dialect to flesh out his character a bit more, because when I'm watching the film, I thought it was just a bit distracting hearing Cube still have his Cubamisms while playing this surveillance program government guy. Again, I'm not an expert, so I'm not sure what dialect he could have went with, but it would have been more cool to see him go into his more acting bag. And there are certain moments in here where I wasn't mad at his acting. I'm like, yo, that's actually pretty decent, especially when we get towards the ending and the finale. There are parts where I'm like, Cube is doing a pretty decent job. And I do place a lot of the blame on the director, Rich Lee, respectfully, because a lot of the reaction shots I felt were very jarring and wonky and very bad in certain moments. Like something serious is really going on, some shit is popping off. You cut back to Cube or one of the supporting characters and they're kind of like in the wind or like, huh, like with a question mark above their head. And I'm not saying that to make fun of anybody. That's just how I felt. I'm like, this direction and the reaction shots are pretty bad. I might have mentioned the CGI before, but if I haven't, it deserves another mention because it is terrible. The CGI in this film is one of the worst aspects of the movie. It is Sci-Fi Channel grade. I'm talking 1 out of 10 territory on the special effects and visuals and how the aliens look. It's just ridiculous. Moving on to the plot line, and spoilers for anybody that's interested in watching the movie. But the aliens are a mixture between biological and cyber with microchips in them, and they want to feed themselves data from all the headquarters around the world. So we do have some sequences where the tripods are standing in front of the building and they're going whack, 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 and they kind of look like Pac-Man with this really bad CGI electricity shooting out of their mouth. Will this whole time has been trying to track down a guy named Disruptor, which is pretty much anonymous. And we come to find out, spoilers, that his son is the leader of Disruptor. And the son has been telling his father the whole time that the government is lying to him, his own government that he's working for. But he won't hear anything his son is telling him, and the reveal happens. I didn't mind that Will goes over to the Disruptor side and pretty much leaves the government alone. He doesn't want anything to deal with it after he finds out how corrupt it is. So I didn't mind this decision, to be honest. It does leave me for a shocker that this film and the 2005 adaptation of War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise were both filmed at Universal Studios. And we do get a quick shot of the Boeing plane in this film as well. But this movie felt like it was filmed with $10, a toaster, and a piece of bread. Honestly, that's how I feel. My final thoughts. This version of War of the Worlds is the biggest disappointment for me in the entire year. I was really rooting for Cube with this one, and I'm still a big fan of him, but I will say this is my least favorite movie of his out of his entire filmography. That's how much I dislike this film. I'm going to give War of the Worlds 2025 a 2.5 out of 10. And that's it, y'all. It's your boy Fro. What did you think about this movie? Comment below. Let me know your thoughts. In the meantime, between time, I'm on to the next review. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm out. Bong.